So by dot 10:30 start, let people roll in because we'll anyway be live streaming this on YouTube. That will come on the next stage. So there's a little lag in us doing this here. We normally open the live stream after the session. We just glance at what's on YouTube and then publish it. So it will be available in 15 minutes after the session. So we have that lag just to save, be on the right side, to be honest with you, because sometimes you end up on some challenge. So we just review it once. That's all. We don't edit. We give it raw footage, but we do see it and make sure that we don't embarrass a child in our organization.
So now you know what's the right side.
Well, I have to be on your right side.
Yeah, that's what it
Some,
means. That's
sometimes
what it means,
one
basically.
doesn't want someone to be exposed on a camera. If they're coming voluntarily, okay, but sometimes you have to be careful of these things. Okay, you guys, you don't need me. Yeah, I better shut up because it's Jugjeev's show. Over to you, Jugjeev.
Actually, it's not my show, it's Rishona's show. So thank you so much for Shikha for joining us. And welcome and Jai Hind, everybody. And so, Shikha, thank you so much for being here. Obviously, what you do is very, very relevant for children, and that's why we're very, very keen you do this. And also, we're looking forward to all the workshops going forward. And
So much.
with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rishona, but just a request to everybody here. Please, this is a good opportunity to ask Shikha questions. When you're in school environment, you may be a little more restrained. Here, please feel free to ask her questions. She works on many things, and I'm sure you understand a little bit more as we go through the question and answer session. So, over to you, Rishona.
Thank you, sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll give a quick introduction. Welcome, ma'am. Today we have Ms. Shikha with us today from Right Side Story, and we're going to be conducting a meet and greet. So first things first, driven by a deep passion for change, Ms. Shikha is on a mission to transform educational spaces into safe environments where every child can thrive. With over 13 years of experience, she has been at the forefront of enhancing child safety and student well-being across India, empowering schools and colleges to protect and nurture students. She blends her expertise in criminal psychology and child rights to provide institutions with the tools they need to create secure, supportive environments. Her work is more than a career, it's a lifelong commitment to shaping a future where every child is protected, empowered, and prepared to succeed. Ma'am, if you would like to share a few words, please.
Thank you so much, Rishona, and thank you so much, GSA, for giving me this opportunity to come here and talk to all you wonderful students. And I'm sure some of you have gone through what Right Side Story does. So I'm very, very passionate about bringing a change in terms of child safety and also making schools safer for children. So my journey of these 13 years or these aggressive 5 years where I've been sitting in the classrooms and trying to understand, okay, this is the challenge, how can we fix this? And most of our challenges are fixed through communication. So which gives us a beautiful platform today to at least have that communication started, that if there is a challenge, if you're not feeling okay, it's fine. At least we need to know that we always have people in our life where we can go and at least talk to them. So this is what Right Side Story does. We work in the field of child safety. Um we talk about all the sensitive topics which nobody talks about. We talk about bullying. And when we talk about bullying, it's not only limited to, oh, being a bully is a problem. No, being a victim is also a problem. Being an inactive bystander is also a problem, right? So we talk about bullying in detail. We talk about issues related to mental health. We also talk about alcohol, substance. You know, um, we talk about sex education or any kind of abuse that a child can be prone to. So, yeah, this is what we do, and I look forward to this very, very interactive and engaging session. So, all the girls and boys out there, please, if you have any question and if you feel that you don't want to ask it in open, you can please, use the chat box and you can send it to me privately, and I can keep your identity anonymous. But at least we would get to know that, okay, yes, this is a question and I would love to answer that.
Thank you so much for that, ma'am. So without further ado, shall we start with the question answer session? So I'll ask the first few questions.
Sure.
So my first question for you is that there are quite a few global and nationwide organizations that work for a very similar cause, that is child safety. So what makes Right Side Story unique in its work and makes it stand out from all other organizations out there?
Okay. So we will probably take a step back. Okay. So when we talk about a lot of organizations, I've realized one very important thing, that there are 10,000 NGOs in India who are working in child safety. And I'm not even joking. 10,000 NGOs in India working in the field of child safety. And since a decade, there has been a 500% increase in crime against children. So now, do we understand that there's a definitely a very solid gap somewhere? And it took me 1.5 years when I was literally, going to the principals, going to the cops, going to the hospitals, and just trying to understand that what is the flaw in the system that we have 10,000 NGOs and there's a 500% increase. So with a lot of research and, talking to a lot of people, I realized that these NGOs are working with the underprivileged. But what about the middle class? What about the challenges that people like you and me are facing, right? What about the challenges that, when we talk about the underprivileged, also, what are the challenges and how are we solving them? Are we having those enough communications? Are we having those enough conversations with them? So, what brings us um, you know, um, uh, what makes us different actually is that we've done a lot of research on our topics and we have solved a lot of problems through, communication. So we talk and we give realistic solutions to all the problems that children are facing, or the educators are facing, the learners and educators. So we focus a lot on that, and we all the programs that we have, they are all in sync with NEP, they are all in sync with NCF, also in sync with NCPCR. So, might be sounding little jargons, but these are all the applicable policies in our country. So we follow that as well. And also we've put in a lot of love, passion, experience, and the kind of people that we have. So, that makes it very, very unique for us. And I can proudly say that, with our conversations, with our communication with the learners, we have solved 70 to 80% of the problems only through that, not even getting into in-depth, um, psychological aid, I would say. It was just through communication we've been able to solve those. And when we say communication, we mean communication with love. So, yeah.
Okay, ma'am. I was actually unaware that there were so many NGOs because in India itself, because I thought that there must be a couple hundred, but that was a surprise
10,000
that you told
plus,
me.
yeah. And this is the data which was like maybe 5 years old. I started my research just before COVID, and that was the time when I realized 10,000 NGOs. Come on, what is the gap? What is why? And 500% increase. That was the biggest trigger moment for me also. That 10,000, there was definitely some flaw in the system.
And as a follow-up to that, there like so I when going to your website, there was a lot about how you want to transform the school culture to make it more safer for children.
Yeah.
So how do you feel you can give those kind of realistic solutions? How do you feel you can bring changes within the school system itself? Because it's always hard to change ideologies. It's always hard to change social norms. So how do you think you can do that
Yeah,
in
again,
the system?
so when we talk about changing systems, the most important thing that I've realized in these years is that people don't follow people, people follow system, right? So in schools, we've realized that there were a lot of lack of systems. So with our expertise, we have created a lot of systems in the school. When we talk about bullying, so there's an anti-bullying policy. right? When we have the policy, people follow. Then we have the anti-bullying committee, and which is run by the students. And how are they having that communication, and how are they solving these problems at their own level, because they are trained how to do that, so making the policies, making the SOPs, and creating that sensitive culture of empathy is something where I would say this is the most important pillar of making schools safe, and not ignoring. And the second is that taking every complaint very, very seriously, every concern very, very seriously. So these are the two very critical pillars for how we feel that we can bring a change.
And a lot of times I've seen that a lot of students, they are not willing to share. Like if they're facing any problem, be it bullying or cyberbullying or any kind of problem, they're afraid to speak up, especially to a person who they don't know. If they're afraid to tell their own family about it, tell their own friends about it. So
Yeah.
how do you plan on dealing with that when there's so
Again,
many people silent?
yeah. Thanks to Shona for asking this question. But to my surprise, when we have done these sessions, a lot of students have opened up, because I'm sure the all of you sitting here, I'm not giving a very serious vibe, right? That okay, this is a very critical session and we need to write questions, this, that. No. So the kind of vibe that we are providing to the children in the classroom is making them so much comfortable that they are asking us anything and everything. And also when we are doing sessions, when we are having conversations, we usually keep those questions in written and anonymous until unless it's a red flag. Yeah. So the students always have an opportunity to just write down that question and give it to us. And we, during the session, throughout the session, we make sure that we answer all these, concerns that they have. And I've seen that, the middle school students, which I can see most of you are here, from grade 6 to 8 or grade till grade 9 and 10, the kind of questions that are raised, they're very, very interesting. And it's sad that there is nobody who can, everybody knows the answer. Every adult will know the answer, but there are not enough safe spaces where the children feel comfortable and talk about it and, get the right appropriate answer, which is way beyond moral education, which is just about how I am feeling, how comfortable I am feeling asking about it, so we create that space as well.
Right. And a follow-up question to this. I also believe that parents, teachers, these adult figures in everyone's life, they play a very important role. So do you equally focus on workshops for parents, for teachers in guiding students towards
Yes,
this?
absolutely. Absolutely. We do, it is very critical to keep all the important critical stakeholders involved in these conversations, right? So, how to have that first level of communication with the learner is very, very critical. Yeah. So, we have workshops which are called psychological first aid for, the educators. And we also talk about a lot of things with parents as well. It all depends what kind of workshop the school is asking for. So we always customize it. Everything is customized. We don't have one size fits all.
Yeah, and for my next question, I find Right Side Story as a name to be very catchy and unique. So why Right Side Story? Why this name, and how did the idea for such a name come about?
Okay. So always when we are choosing things in life, we always have two options, and our brain is always confused. Is it the right thing or the wrong, or not the right thing? Is it okay or it's not okay? Yeah. So as Right Side Story, our focus is to focus on the right side of everything. It can be child abuse. We are focusing on the right thing, doing the right thing, and having the right communication. So everything which we feel is right is where the Right Side Story came into picture. And also, if you see the red dot, So the red dot represents stop child abuse, you know. So this is where how the whole logo was also designed, keeping in mind that yes, we have to put a stop on child abuse, and also, you know, telling the right side of the story to everybody. Though we're not a media firm, but still, you know.
I think that was very meaningful. The message behind the logo, I think it holds a lot of meaning in itself. And last but not least, at what point in your life did it strike you that building a safe future for children is your passion? But what events led to this commitment, and what shaped your thoughts and dedication towards this?
Okay, so again, a very interesting question because when I started, so this is my second venture. The first venture is Young Explorers. So that, you know, in that company, we do experiential learning programs with students. So I've been working a lot with children of your age. We have done projects related to science, related to theater, related to English, you know, related to art. So the kind of interactions that I had with, you know, the learners, I realized that obviously when you're traveling with children, you will open up, right? And the kind of stories that I heard that time, it was very, very disturbing. Every story was a red flag, and I thought that why is nobody talking to, you know, the learners and solving these problems? Because um, the only thing that triggered me was that you know, there have been girls who have come to me and they're like, you know, ma'am, you know, I'm very happy that I came on this trip because in every summer vacation my father or my uncle sexually abused me, you know. So I was like, wow, and what are you doing about it? And she said, nothing, I don't know what to do. And I was like, what about the school? She said, I don't know whom to go to, you know. So that those kind of episodes literally shattered me, and I thought that okay, let me just have these conversation because safety was you know, compromised. And I personally feel that me, a lot of times people have asked me that, oh, have you been a victim? That, you know, because usually what happens, if you are a victim of any kind of abuse, you would want to stand up for it, you would want to talk about it in public, and you would want to solve that problem, right? But with me, you know, I would say that my empathy has made me create right side story. You know, I've been very, very empathetic that it doesn't matter whose child it is, it doesn't matter if it has happened with you, and if I have the power and if I have that opportunity and resources, I would love to bring a change in the system, you know. So this is something that, you know, pushed me to create right side story and do as much as I can. And on that note, I would like to also add on that, you know, I am one of those who's very, very fortunate, just like probably Sandeep sir, that he has a fantastic team. So for, you know, and you always need a fantastic team, equally passionate team, equally crazy team to make a difference. And you know, so I have we are a team of 70 people in 13 cities, and we are trying to, the only difference that we are trying to make is giving that courage to each and every learner that yes, if something wrong, something which is not okay has happened, you need to speak up, you know. At the same time, we've also trained the teachers to understand that okay, if there is some you know, how to judge if a child is not okay. We've also spoken to parents that okay, if something has happened, do not blame the children. You know what I mean? So we have created that whole synergy of, you know, making safe spaces for children as a team.
Thank you so much for all the answers. They were very short, crisp, and informative. I now hand it over to Jugjeev sir and the audience if they have any questions that they want to ask.
Yeah, Rishona, can you monitor the chat? Because I have a difficulty doing that today. Can you monitor the chat?
So I don't think there's any questions in
There
the
is no
chat.
question. Yeah.
In case they come, because I'm going to just ask people, because last Sunday we found that people are very comfortable with chat and we got a lot of
Yeah.
questions on. So just if you can run that chat and come across questions, run the chat. So I'm just sharing with everybody. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand,
Or
virtually, and
just, yeah, I would request if you can use the chat box and you can send it to me personally. It's fine. It's okay. Any kind of question, anything you wanna, you know, ask that why does my friend behave like this? Why am I not okay with this feeling? Because again, when we talk about bullying or when we talk about any kind of mental health concern or we talk about um, cyberbullying, you know, so these are the concerns where probably physically nobody would get to know that I am facing that, but it's very, very critical that at least we talk about it. At least, there is some kind of communication that is happening. I hope I
absolutely.
did not. Yeah, sorry.
So absolutely. So from your own system, you can send a private message to Shikha ma'am, and she will discuss the question, but she won't reveal who's asked the question. So it will stay anonymous, but you'll get your answer, and others will also learn in the process. Over here, if anybody has questions, just raise your hand. Please come ahead and ask. So
Because if
Shikha,
you don't have questions, I have a lot of questions, everyone.
that's good. But Shikha, आपकी हिंदी तो ठीक ठाक ही होगी.
हाँ, अच्छी है. Of course, दिल्ली की हूँ मैं.
हाँ, तो हमारे यहाँ पे लास्ट रो में आपको दिख नहीं रहा होगा, टीचर्स आए हैं अदरफुट एकेडमी से, ठीक है. तो
Okay.
और कुछ बच्चे भी हैं, यू नो हिंदी में, हिंदी बेसिकली थोड़ी वो बेहतर समझते हैं अंग्रेजी के
तो
मुकाबले.
अब थोड़ा इंग्लिश रख लेते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. तो मैं पूछना चाहूंगी मेरा पहला सवाल, क्योंकि यहाँ पे अभी तक कोई सवाल आया नहीं है. सो आई थिंक जब मैं
नहीं,
सवाल पूछना शुरू कर. यस,
मेरे
देर इज.
सवाल.
हाँ, देर इज वन क्वेश्चन. दिस गाय रेज्ड हिज हैंड. यस.
हाँ प्लीज आइए, हिंदी में इंग्लिश में डजेंट मैटर, आप पूछिए.
डजंट मैटर.
जय हिंद, जय हिंद.
जय हिंद.
Ma'am, what do you think if a person who is bully someone why he want to bully a victim? Because of jealousy, anger, or fear? Like many times, but many times I asked that to any another school senior, or that he, they said me to what he suffered they will do with do same.
थैंक यू. व्हाट्स योर नेम?
My name is Divyanshu Ranjan.
व्हाट्स योर नेम? सॉरी.
Divyanshu Ranjan.
दिव्यांशु रंजन.
दिव्यांशु. So thank you so much, Divyanshu, for asking this question. ये मुझे लगता है बहुत लोगों के मन में रहता है ये सवाल कि ये बुली बुली करता क्यों है. व्हाट इज द रीजन? ये मिस्ट्री क्या है? ये बुली क्यों हो रहा है? क्यों कर रहा है वो किसी को बुली, है ना? तो हर बंदे का अपना रीजन होता है बुली करने का. बट लेट मी गिव यू अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि बुलिंग होता क्या है. एनीबडी फ्रॉम द ऑडियंस, क्या कोई बताना चाहेगा बुलिंग क्या होता है? यू कैन अनम्यूट योर सेल्फ. ये तो कोई पर्सनल क्वेश्चन नहीं है. दिस जस्ट डेफिनेशन. नहीं, आप दिव्यांशु, आपको तो हो चुका आपका ना. अभी हम किसी और से पूछते हैं. द अदर पीपल, आई सी अ लॉट ऑफ क्यूट लिटिल बॉयज. सात्विक, डू यू वांट टू अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ and answer what is bullying according to you? You are one of the youngest ones. I see Pratik also. Yes. Pratik.
Anmol, put it in chat.
हाँ, I saw. A verbal, social, or emotional threat to someone. A verbal, social. Okay. हाँ जी.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
When we hurt someone's dignity,
Okay. What? Sorry, when we?
We hurt somebody's dignity.
Okay. ओके. सो अभी मैं आपको कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग बातें बताऊंगी अबाउट बुलिंग. पहली चीज.
Another one.
ओके.
morning, morning. आगे बढ़ो।
To mock someone on his or her or her weakness.
ओके, सो आज हम बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें समझेंगे बुलिंग के बारे में। सो पहली चीज, बुलिंग इज ऑलवेज इंटेंशनल। मतलब मैं चाहता हूँ या मैं चाहती हूँ हर्ट करना, गलती से बुलिंग नहीं होता है। यू कैन शो मी अ थम्स अप ऑन द स्क्रीन कि आपको समझ आ गया। गलती से कोई बुलिंग करता है?
No, ma'am.
यस और नो? यू कैन नॉड यस नो,
No.
है ना? गलती से तो कोई बुलिंग नहीं करता है, ये तो इंटेंशनल है कि मैं चाहता हूँ या
No, ma'am.
है ना? तो शिखा चाहती है किसी को बुलिंग करना, इसलिए वो करती है, पहली चीज। और दूसरी चीज होता है कि बुलिंग है imbalance of power. What do we mean by that? So if you see the screen, can you all of you see me? Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a normal scenario where there is a friend A and friend B. Okay, and they're friends. When bullying comes, the balance वो बिगड़ गया। So ऊपर चला गया bully and नीचे चला गया victim, right? दो लोग होते हैं bullying की situation में, एक bully जो bully कर रहा है, एक victim जो bully हो रहा है ना? सो इसमें पावर इम्बैलेंस है। अगर विक्टिम हो आप, तो आप विक्टिम बन रहे हो तो आप नीचे जा रहे हो, और अगर आप बुली कर रहे हो तो आप ऊपर जा रहे हो। थोड़ा सा समझ आया? थोड़ा सा कि पूरा?
Bully और
ओके,
ऐसा तो हम लोग
हाँ। सो अभी ये हमको समझ आया कि ये इंटेंशनल होता है, और ये भी समझ आया कि अगर मैं बुलिंग कर रही हूँ तो मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है कि मैं आपकी वीकनेस का या मैं आपको दुख पहुंचा के मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है। So this is the
Ma'am,
feeling that I want to hurt you intentionally. Yes,
ma'am, you said that the bullier is more
the
than
bully.
us.
हाँ,
Bullier more than us. So victim is also start bullying and then become that balance for balancing that
तो
level.
फिर वो विक्टिम रहा ही नहीं ना बच्चे, बात तो वही हुई। फिर अगर
But
अगर आप सी, इफ दिस इज अ फ्रेंडशिप, ओके, दिस इज अ ग्राफ ऑफ फ्रेंडशिप। अगर बुली ऊपर चला गया तो फिर आप भी ऊपर चले गए, तो फिर आप भी बुली हो गए और वो भी बुली हो गया। सो टू बुलीज, if there are two bullies, they don't bully each other. It is called a friendly banter. It's a banter, right? आप मस्ती कर रहे हैं। लेकिन अगर आप विक्टिम है तो आपको अगर दुख हो रहा है एंड यू आर फीलिंग वेरी बैड अबाउट इट, तो आप विक्टिम हो गए ना, क्योंकि आपको बुरा लगा। अभी वैसे आपने तो मुझे देखा नहीं है, बट बहुत लोगों ने मेरा बॉडी शेमिंग करा है लाइफ में, ठीक है ना? उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि यार तुम तो बहुत मोटी हो, तुम ये हो, तुम वो हो, तुमको क्या खाने की जरूरत है, या तुमको एक्स्ट्रा 4 छोले भटूरे की प्लेट मंगा दो शिखा के लिए, है ना? क्योंकि उसका तो एक से बात नहीं बनेगा। बट नाउ नाउ आई हैव टू ऑप्शंस। ईदर आई कैन से, ईदर आई कैन फील बैड दैट ओहो, किसी ने मेरा मजाक उड़ाया क्योंकि मैं थोड़ा सा मोटी हूँ, या फिर मैं उसको बोलूंगी मैं 4 नहीं, मैं 10 प्लेट खाऊंगी, लेके आओ। आई एम अ पंजाबी, आई लव छोले भटूरे एंड आई एम गोइंग टू ईट छोले भटूरे as much as I want, you know. So in this scenario, I did not I did not choose to be a victim. मैं नहीं बनी victim because it is my choice, right? So but if somebody is a victim, again as I said, मैंने आपको शुरू में भी बोला कि मेरे लिए और राइट साइड स्टोरी के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हमें ये उंगली नहीं उठानी है कि ओ ये बंदा बुली है, इसने ये गलत किया। मेरे को अपने ऊपर उठानी है, क्या मैं बुली हूँ या क्या मैं विक्टिम हूँ? बिकॉज बीइंग बोथ और ईदर इज अ प्रॉब्लम। आई डोंट वांट टू बी अ बुली, आई डोंट वांट टू बी अ विक्टिम, बट आई वांट टू बी दैट वन पर्सन कि अगर मेरे आंखों के सामने एक बुली किसी का मजाक उड़ा रहा है तो मैं उसको जाके बोलूं कि हेलो एक्सक्यूज मी, आप ये नहीं करिए, ये अच्छी चीज नहीं है, और क्यों कर रहे हो? और अगर आपको लग रहा है कि इट इज वेरी ओवर पावरिंग और आपको लग रहा है कि यू डोंट, probably एट दिस स्टेज आपके पास उतना करेज नहीं है, कि आपको वहां जाके आप you want to be a part of this, probably you can talk to the victim. That's easier. कि अरे छोड़ो ना यार. For example, Jugjeev sir is it okay if I take your example, Jugjeev sir?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So Jugjeev sir is feeling bad कि किसी ने उनका मजाक उड़ाया या किसी ने उनके बारे में कुछ गलत बोला, तो मैं उनको बोलूँगी अरे छोड़ो यार, चलो आइसक्रीम खा के आते हैं, ये सब तो होता रहेगा, ये तो लाइफ है, इट्स फाइन, इट्स ओके, हु केयर्स, इतना वी गेट वन लाइफ, योलो, राइट, हैशटैग योलो, you only live once, so why to take so much pressure, why to take so much stress, so on and so forth. So जब आपने ये सवाल किया, दिग्विजय, राइट? No, I'm very bad with
Mhm.
names. What was the name of the child जिन्होंने सवाल पूछा था? Oh, Jojeev sir just left the meeting. Yes. तो उनका सवाल ये था कि बुली क्यों करता है? अब हम क्यों में जाएंगे तो वो तो एक साइकोलॉजिस्ट का वो थोड़ा दिस इज अ लिटिल डीप कि क्यों कर रहा है. वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. फर्स्ट स्टेप तो यही है. एन अडल्ट कैन हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड कि वो बुली बुली क्यों कर रहा है. हो सकता है उसके साथ हुआ हो सकता है कि उसने देखा हो और उसको लगा हो कि यार दिस इज इट्स अ कूल थिंग टू डू, राइट? अगर आपको एक गैंग में लीडर बनना है तो आपको ये करना पड़ेगा. एंड आई लाइक टू डू दैट. So if you need to, so first step is an adult in your life, in bully's life will understand कि ये क्यों हो रहा है, कैसा हो रहा है. But as friends, as peers, as classmates, I think the biggest takeaway from this conversation is that मैं if I am a bully, I need to step back and see कि यार मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ, why am I doing this, why am I making somebody feel bad. If I'm a victim, I need to see and understand that why am I being a victim? Come on, let me just go out and have an ice cream, yeah. Summers वैसे ही आ रहा है, इतना क्यों stress लेना life में? Or let me just go and have a pizza or a pasta with friends. Why do you take life so seriously? And if I'm now I step back and see, okay, I'm a bystander. Bystander means जो इंसान खड़े होके बस देख रहा है, राइट? जो देख रहा है, जो ना विक्टिम है ना बुली है, एवरीबडी एल्स इज अ बायस्टैंडर. तो अगर मैं बायस्टैंडर हूँ, क्या मैं एक्टिव बायस्टैंडर हूँ या इनएक्टिव? अगर मैं इनएक्टिव हूँ तो आई नीड टू टेक अ स्टैंड कि नो दिस इज नॉट ओके. आई नीड टू यू नो आई नीड टू टेक सम एक्शन. मुझे कुछ तो बात करनी है ना जाकर कि यार नहीं यार, आई नीड टू टेक स्टैंड फॉर द विक्टिम और फॉर द बुली, के बुली को बोलो कि नहीं यार ये नहीं करना है, प्लीज, नो दिस इज नॉट कूल. Or go to the victim कि no yaar, please don't feel so bad, it's okay. Because a victim, he or she is already feeling bad, so we can't tell them no. You can't pressurize them to feel okay. You can just give them love, you can give them empathy, you can feel empathetic towards it. You can probably just buy a chocolate for that person, you know and that'll make their day. So I think as friends we can probably promise to our own selves that okay, yeah, this is something that I can do. And Jugjeev sir, I have some questions personally on the chat. So is it okay if I can just take them? You can show a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. So obviously I've got a question, so I'm not going to reveal the identity, but I'm going to read it. That ma'am, someone used to make my fake Insta ID and send bad messages to my female best friends, and I know who has done it. So what should I do, and how should I face it? Okay, so first of all, whoever has written this question, thank you so much for coming up and talking about it, because we know for a fact that after pandemic, creating fake IDs or misusing anybody's identity is a very common norm nowadays, right? So the first thing here that needs to be done is inform an adult in your life. And if that trusted adult is somebody from the school, fantastic. Because, the school will have much more IT facilities. If you go to your parents, maybe they will get confused that they don't know what to do, or should we get into anything like this or not. But the school will be very, very comfortable taking this up. Also, haven't you reported to Instagram that it's a fake account? You can always do that. Yeah, you need to go and report it. And another important thing, if you have an Instagram account, how old are you? Are you 13? If you're below 13, then we have a very big problem. We already can have a very big problem because the age of, the minimum age to have an Instagram account is 13 in India. Yeah, so if
Even
you're,
you teens one they're talking of is also 13. I see
sorry,
there are full page ads coming in the paper about Instagram teen accounts.
yeah, 13.
13. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's why the teen accounts.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's 13 is when we start. So these are the three things that you have to, first is tell Instagram that it's a fake account and they will stop it. Second is you have to tell anybody from your trusted circle, whoever that person is, and make sure that the action is taken against that person. And if you think that there is somebody you already know, then obviously tell your counselor of the school that okay, this is what it is, and make sure when you put an allegation that okay, I know somebody, then you have enough proof for that, because assumptions in such scenarios doesn't work.
शिखा मैम आपने
Yes,
बताया कि कुछ वजह हैं जिस वजह से बच्चे बात नहीं करते प्रॉब्लम के बारे में जो उनके साथ हुई है।
जी,
एक उनको डर लग सकता है, एक उनको उनको पता नहीं किसके पास जाना है।
जी,
पर इसके एक स्टेप पीछे करते बच्चे को बताना, किसी को बताना क्यों जरूरी है उसके बारे में बात करिए, और हाउ टू ओवरकम दीज इशू के जिससे
ओके,
हम बताएं।
जी। थैंक यू जगजीव सर, आपने सवाल पूछा मुझे। इस पे मैं बस एक ही बड़ी क्रिटिकल चीज बोलूंगी कि अगर आपकी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, and I'm saying life, well, it is life, right? Yeah, do we agree? Yes or no?
यस।
Yeah. So it is, we are talking about a problem in our life. जब हम एक प्रॉब्लम की बात कर रहे हैं, हमें एक चीज का बहुत ज्यादा ध्यान रखना है कि अगर हम वो प्रॉब्लम शेयर कर रहे हैं उसी इंसान से जिसकी उम्र हमारी जितनी है, तो वो प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन दे नहीं पाएंगे, बिकॉज उस इंसान को उतना ही एक्सपीरियंस जितना आपको है लाइफ का, राइट? सो व्हेन यू से ट्रस्टेड एडल्ट, तो इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर आपकी लाइफ में कोई भी कंसर्न है, कोई प्रॉब्लम है, तो आपको एक एडल्ट के पास ही जाना है। क्यों जाना है? क्योंकि वो आपको हेल्प करेंगे। इट इज एज सिंपल एज दैट। अगर एक प्रॉब्लम है, डू यू नीड अ सोल्यूशन? आपको सोल्यूशन चाहिए, आपको उस प्रॉब्लम से बाहर निकलना है, येस और नो? आई एम आस्किंग, येस और नो? वी कैन नॉड, वी कैन शो थम्स अप। आई एम आस्किंग,
Yes.
you need a solution to a problem, right? If you need a solution to a problem, it is obvious that you need to talk. And किससे बात करनी है? It has to be an adult, because अगर आप ग्रेड 5 का बच्चा ग्रेड 7 के पास जा रहा है, ग्रेड 7 के पास क्या सोल्यूशन होगा? कुछ नहीं होगा, लाइफ का एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं है। सो वो एडल्ट के पास जाना, एंड इट ऑल और जरूरी क्यों है जाना? क्योंकि द एज दैट यू आर एट, यू आर, अभी आप अपनी आइडेंटिटी बना रहे हैं, अभी आप अपने सिस्टम में वो सारे थॉट्स डाल रहे हैं कि क्या ये सही है, क्या ये गलत है। तो अगर आपने कुछ गलत चीज को अभी एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी विद यू फॉर एवर। सो इट इज द वेरी क्रिटिकल कि आपको कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, यू नीड टू गो टू एन अडल्ट। वो काउंसलर हो सकता है, वो टीचर हो सकता है, वो जुगजीव सर हो सकते हैं, वो संदीप सर हो सकते हैं, राइट? वो पेरेंट्स हो सकते हैं, वो बड़ी दीदी हो सकती है, भैया हो सकते हैं, कजन हो सकता है, एनीबडी हु इज अबव 18, ठीक है? एनीबडी हु इज अबव 18, यू कैन गो टू दैट पर्सन एंड टॉक अबाउट इट।
Ma'am, I have one more question.
यस सर।
Uh, Ma'am, ignoring is a type of mental bullying.
क्या होता है?
इग्नोरिंग,
नहीं,
इग्नोरिंग
मैं
या
समझ गई, वो मैं समझ गई, बट मेरा उसके ऊपर ये सवाल है, थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करेंगे आप थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करें कि इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, किस चीज को इग्नोर कर रहे हैं?
Ma'am, like,
एग्जाम्पल।
okay, ma'am, example, like someone is calling by our wrong name, then we are ignoring someone. Like someone is very fat, he called Motu, then we ignore. That is
So
या तो अब
ignoring
आप
as a
पूछ रहे हैं, तो आप ये पूछ रहे हैं कि
ignoring as a response.
ignoring is bliss. Ignorance is bliss, right? आपको इग्नोर करना है, you have to choose. See again, you have to choose your battle कि क्या मुझे ये लड़ाई करनी है. कोई मुझे मोटा बुला रहा है, कोई मुझे बुला रहा है मोटू, कोई मुझे चश्मिश बुला रहा है, कोई मुझे कुछ भी बुला रहा है. वो मेरी चॉइस है, मुझे नहीं फर्क पड़ता.
that is not the type of bully.
No,
No, not
spontaneous.
at all. How can it be bullying?
Because we are
अगर मुझे
ignoring.
अगर मुझे कोई बोल रहा है कि शिखा मोटी है और मैं उसको इग्नोर करके आगे बढ़ रही हूँ, तो वो ये बुलिंग कैसे हुआ? ये बुलिंग नहीं है. ये दिस इज माय मैच्योर रिस्पॉन्स टू अ बुली. आप समझ रहे हैं? ये मेरी समझ है कि मेरे को ये समझ मिली कि अगर कोई मुझे ऐसे बुला रहा है, मुझे इग्नोर करना, मुझे फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता. बिकॉज मेरी पर्सनालिटी ऐसी रही है कि मैं तो शेर हूँ, मुझे फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता. आई एम वॉकिंग इन द जंगल लाइक अ लायन, लाइक अ लायनेस. I don't care if there is a porcupine coming, there is a deer coming, there is a jackal coming, leopard coming. I don't care. I am walking in the jungle like a lioness. I don't care. So it's not bullying. I am at peace. Yeah? बुलिंग तब होता है ये तब जब मैं किसी को हर्ट कर रही हूँ. अब मैं जवाब नहीं दे रही तो मैं हर्ट थोड़ी ना कर रही हूँ. दिव्यांश, आर यू लिसनिंग?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, how ignoring become a bully?
Sorry.
How ignoring become a bully?
It doesn't become. It doesn't become.
It
So,
doesn't.
Shikha ma'am, आपने टी तो उसके बारे में कुछ बताएंगे क्या चीज है?
क्या चीज? सॉरी, आवाज थोड़ा कट रहा था.
Identity. You used the word identity.
हाँ, सो
बच्चे अभी
आइडेंटिटी. अच्छा, सो
बता रहे हैं ये क्या चीज?
तो आइडेंटिटी क्या होता है कि मैं जब आपकी उम्र में थी ना, तब मैंने चूज कर लिया था कि मोमोज मेरे फेवरेट है. मैंने ये चूज कर लिया था, राइट, कि चाउमीन मेरी फेवरेट है. मैंने ये चूज कर लिया था कि मेरे लिए माय दैट आई लव माय ब्रदर सो मच कि मैं उसके लिए कुछ भी करूंगी. एंड आई हैव अ यंगर ब्रदर. ओके. तो मैं जब आपकी उम्र में थी, मैंने ये भी चूज कर लिया था कि फैमिली इज एवरीथिंग फॉर मी. I will fight for my friends. I will fight for what is right and what is wrong. Okay? So जब मैंने ये मेरी पर्सनल चॉइसेस हैं, ये मेरा पर्सनल डिसीजन, पर्सनल चॉइस है कि मैंने ये किया और मैं एक इस तरीके के इंसान हूँ जो ये करता है. इट इज एज सिंपल एज. आइडेंटिटी का मतलब कि हु इज शिखा. दिव्यांश इज डिफरेंट, आरव इज डिफरेंट, शौर्य इज डिफरेंट, राइट? सात्विक इज डिफरेंट. Satvik loves dosa, Shaurya loves chowmin, Shikha loves momos. Simple. We are three different people having three different choices, but so we have created our own identities. So identity का मतलब होता है कि who am I? मैं कौन हूँ? मेरी food choices, मेरी choices about people. मुझे किस तरीके के दोस्त चाहिए जिंदगी में? Because एक बड़ी पुरानी कहावत है, once a bully, always a bully. Right? Once a victim, always a victim. क्योंकि बुली के साथ क्या होता है, अगर मैं आज मैं बुली हूँ, तो अभी तो मैं स्कूल में बुली हूँ, अभी मैं मिडिल स्कूल में बुली हूँ, फिर उसके बाद मुझे इतना मजा आने लगेगा बुलिंग से कि मैं अब सीनियर स्कूल में भी बुली करूँ, फिर उसके बाद मैं यूनिवर्सिटी जाऊंगी, वहां पे भी बुली करूँ. तो जब एक बुली जो है उसके बड़े, मैं एकदम से थोड़ा सा डाइवर्ट हो गया. जगजीव सर, थोड़ा सा टॉपिक, बट इट्स लिटिल क्रिटिकल, वेयर दे शुड दैट एवरीबॉडी शुड नो कि बुली के ना रियल फ्रेंड्स नहीं होते. बुली के दोस्त इसलिए होते हैं ताकि वो बुली ना हो बस. आई विल बी फ्रेंड्स विद जगजीव सर इफ ही इज अ बुली, बिकॉज मुझे पता है कि अगर मैं इनकी दोस्त नहीं रही ना, तो कल कोई मुझे बुली करेंगे. बट आई, फ्रॉम माई हार्ट, ही इज नॉट माई फ्रेंड. सो आई थिंक आइडेंटिटी थोड़ा सा समझ आया. कोई और डाउट है तो बताइए. बट आइडेंटिटी अब समझ आ गया ना कि मैं कौन हूँ. Who am I? मेरी क्या identity? मेरा क्या वजूद है? Who am I? What kind of food I like? What kind of clothes I like? What kind of people I like? What are my ethics, values in life? What's up? Is identity.
Jatin has a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, आपने भी mention करा that child, if the child is facing any problem, then he can approach an adult, and that person should be 18 or above.
Yeah.
But what's the guarantee that if a person is above 18, that person must be having enough wisdom to guide with the right choice?
Yeah.
Because I have seen people who are above 30 also, 40 also, and the kind of choices they make and the kind of guidance they give to the others can be very destructive.
Yes.
And I have seen
Absolutely.
And I have seen people who are below 18, like 15 or 16, I think they have enough wisdom sometimes. Because see, people are of different types. So how a child should decide from whom to take the guidance or from whom to take the advice, because they cannot go randomly to anyone above the 18.
Yeah. So अब इसमें ना आपने ये चीज पकड़ी above 18. What's your name?
Jatin is the
Jatin?
music. Jatin
Yeah.
is the music.
Okay. So Jatin, आपने ये पकड़ा above 18. आपने ये नहीं पकड़ा trusted adult. That was the catch.
They
Yeah.
have
So when I
somebody who they trust more than they trust somebody
But
else.
they can also do the opposite.
Yeah, so that's, I mean,
So
trust by
again, Jatin, there are 100 combinations like what you're saying. कि ये भी तो हो सकता है, वो भी तो हो सकता है, ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है. But when I say, mm, when I'm saying that there has to be a trusted adult, ट्रस्ट कैसे पैदा होगा ना कि अगर एक छोटी सी प्रॉब्लम आई है वो इनिशियल लेवल पे सॉल्व हुई, एंड मोस्टली इन somebody's लाइफ अ ट्रस्टेड एडल्ट. मैं एग्जांपल भी दे सकती हूँ ना. ट्रस्टेड एडल्ट बहुतों की लाइफ में पेरेंट्स होते हैं, बहुतों की लाइफ में स्कूल की काउंसलर होती है. सो देर इज नो सेट रूल. once again there is no set rule in that. I understand where you're coming from, but जो अभी हम एक generic, I am giving a generic answer, you are asking a generic question. If there is a specific, I can give you a specific answer कि ये situation है और इस situation में trusted adult कौन होना चाहिए. I can give you that answer. But when we are talking about in a open space, when we are saying a trusted adult है, अगर किसी का इस रूम में किसी का ट्रस्टेड एडल्ट को लेके कोई क्वेश्चन है, प्लीज पुट इट डाउन. स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन एंड वी कैन आंसर दैट.
I just want to make sure everybody understands that please don't get stuck up in this thing. Trusted adult कौन है? आपको problem है? Please go and try and get it solved. Don't be hung up
या
on.
ट्रस्टेड एडल्ट, जब हम यार ट्रस्टेड एडल्ट तो काउंसलर भी हो गया ना स्कूल का. वो तो कोई भी हो सकता है, वो तो कोई भी हो सकता है लाइफ में, बट कोई तो होगा ना. माई पॉइंट ऑफ टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस, मेरा जो पॉइंट था यहाँ पे वो ये था कि अगर आप अपने दोस्त के पास जा रहे हो और दोस्त आपकी हेल्प नहीं कर पाएगा, आपको एक एडल्ट के पास जाना होगा. आप समझ रहे
Yeah,
हैं?
yeah.
बस पॉइंट ये है. उसके बाद का जो रास्ता है वो आई थिंक वी कैन हैव अ डिटेल्ड डिस्कशन ऑन दैट. बट आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस जगजीव सर, अ लॉट ऑफ देम.
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead. I mean, please go ahead.
पर्सनली काफी आए हैं.
Go
एंड
ahead. Go
हाउ डू
ahead.
यू हाउ डू यू थिंक अदर स्टूडेंट्स फील व्हेन दे आर बुलीड? Well, again, it all depends. This is a very mm,
They have no energy and positive vibes.
yeah. How do you think
Wow.
other students feel when they are bullied?
Oh, you're asking?
No, I
These
mean I'm asking the audience because it's a very
they have answers. Let them
yeah, yeah,
go
वही
ahead.
तो.
They feel
Can't go that far.
good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
They feel sad and they feel demotivated.
Yeah.
They have no more energy
Who is
to
they? Who is they?
the victims.
Victim.
The victim. अभी क्वेश्चन के अंदर एक और क्वेश्चन है कि व्हाट डू यू थिंक अदर स्टूडेंट्स फील व्हेन दे आर बुलीड. अब वो सवाल ये है कि अब आप विक्टिम हो या नहीं हो. मेरा तो बिगर क्वेश्चन ये है ना, आप अज्यूम कर रहे हो कि विक्टिम ही है। क्यों? मेरे को कोई बोले, इफ somebody comes to me and tells me कि यार तुम मोटी हो, हाँ तो who cares? Again, remember lioness walking in the jungle. So यहाँ पे ये वाला क्यों हम अज्यूम कर रहे हैं that it is all only the victim? How do you think other students feel? Other students feel awesome. कि हाँ ठीक है, doesn't matter. Why are we
But
assuming? Yeah.
some of the students can feel, but more than most friends will feel that demotivated.
Yeah, but if you're a friend, let me ask you, what's your name?
Summer,
Summer, if your one of your very good friend is being bullied by somebody, what will you do?
I
Will you feel
will
bad or you will take an action?
I will take an action. That's very
Simple, simple. So you got the answer, right? So you have to, if somebody you think can feel bad about it and is sensitive, then you have to take a step and you stand for it. That yes, it's my responsibility. Because as I said, we are not putting finger on the other person. तुम victim हो, तुम bully हो. No, मैं क्या हूँ? Today, right now, as we speak, what am I right now? Am I a bully? Am I a victim? Or am I a bystander? I step back, see, think कि अच्छा मैं ये हूँ. Then I take the action.
means
Clear?
I have just like an active bystander.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. It is as simple as that. You know, that's the secret sauce, everyone. I've given you today the secret sauce of the chapter bullying.
I truly agree on your point. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, sir, do you have any more questions which have
Yeah,
come in
yeah.
from?
Yeah, I'll quickly just take, ma'am, at what point does conflict between students become bullying? Again, the only point is when the other person is feeling like a victim, right? We don't have to, यहाँ पे हम we will step back and understand what is bullying. अभी bullying हो रहा है और वो जो point है, what is that line? That line is that I am feeling like a victim, it's bullying. If I don't feel like a victim, it's not bullying. Yeah. If somebody is telling me कि शिखा मोटी है पर मुझे बुरा नहीं लग रहा है तो वो बुलिंग है ही नहीं. अगर मुझे बुरा लग रहा है तो वो बुलिंग है. Next question. I will quickly. I am Shivendra Singh. Thank you. You are okay. Okay. My suggestion. Okay. I'll take up the direct questions. Ma'am, like someone is calling you, but you are ignoring him or her for no reason. So this is bullying or not? Well, if somebody is isolating you, and nobody, like in a group, they create a group and everybody decides that okay, शिखा से बात नहीं करना है because वो बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स ला रही है. you know कि oh my god, शिखा ने तो बोला था उसका एग्जाम अच्छा नहीं गया लेकिन उसके तो मार्क्स बहुत अच्छे आ गए, so we are not going to talk to her. And everybody makes a group and everybody creates a um वो isolation create कर देते हैं. वो मेरे से बात नहीं करते हैं, so that is called indirect bullying. That is also bullying. वो indirect होती है, non verbal bullying. But अभी आज के सेशन में हम बहुत ज्यादा टेक्निकल डिटेल्स में नहीं जाएंगे because we're running out of time. But it
शिखा,
is the
सवाल
answer
है,
is
क्या
sorry.
सवाल है मेरा ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द टीचर्स ओवर हियर. तो
हाँ हाँ
टीचर जो यहाँ पे आदरपुर एकेडमी की टीचर्स हैं, तो
हाँ हाँ
उनके बिहाफ पे मैं ये सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ कि आपने कहा कि स्कूल में कल्चर क्रिएट कर रहे हैं जिससे बच्चे सेफ फील करें, तो ये
हाँ.
कल्चर हम कैसे क्रिएट करें?
अ, मैं टीचर से ही एक सवाल करती हूँ कि मेरा एक सवाल है टीचर्स के लिए कि कितनी बार बच्चों ने आके आपको कंप्लेन किया अबाउट बुलिंग और कितनी बार आपने एक्शन लिया और आपने बुलिंग को कितना लाइटली लिया.
रीना मैम इज जस्ट कमिंग अप टू आंसर
या
योर
या
क्वेश्चन.
या
Good morning, ma'am.
गुड मॉर्निंग.
मैम, जितनी बार भी बच्चों ने शिकायत की है, कितनी बार बच्चों को समझाया है।
हम्म,
तो शी सेइंग कि जितनी बार
अच्छा,
कंप्लेंट आई है उन्होंने समझाया है।
हाँ। सो वही मैं आपको बोल रही हूँ कि अगर आप बुलिंग को लाइटली नहीं ले रहे हैं और आप एक छोटी सी भी कंप्लेंट को आप उस पे बैठ रहे हैं, आप समझ रहे हैं, आप बच्चे को समझा रहे हैं, दोनों को। अगर आप एक को समझा रहे हैं, मेरे को उसमें प्रॉब्लम है। आपको दोनों को समझाना है कि विक्टिम को विक्टिम नहीं रहना और बुली को बुली नहीं रहना है। और वो जो पावर का इम्बैलेंस का जो मैंने ग्राफ समझाया था, वो हमें बीच में लेके आना है। मेक श्योर दैट दे आर फ्रेंड्स। तो एटलीस्ट एक ये एक बहुत ऐसे सुनने में लग रहा है कि बड़ा कैजुअल स्टेप है, बट ये बहुत क्रिटिकल स्टेप है क्योंकि यू आर एन एडल्ट और बच्चा, अगर मैं आपकी क्लास में हूँ, मुझे आप पे बहुत ट्रस्ट है क्योंकि आप मेरी टीचर हो, ठीक है ना? और पूरे दिन में मैं आधा दिन आपके साथ हूँ और मुझे पता है कि एक ही ऐसा इंसान है, आपका नाम है, व्हाट्स योर नेम?
वीना।
तो वीना, मुझे पता है कि वीना मैम है क्लास में, कुछ भी हो जाए, मेरे को कोई भी इशू आ रहा है, कोई कंसर्न आ रहा है, वीना मैम मेरे पास खड़ी हुई है साथ में, एंड शी इज गोइंग टू प्रोटेक्ट मी। अगर आप वो फीलिंग एक बच्चे को दे पा रहे हो अपनी क्लास में, तो यू आर डूइंग अमेजिंग ऑलरेडी। तो बस अगर आप वो नहीं दे पा रहे हो और आपको लग रहा है कहीं कमी है, तो वो आपको अपने आप वो आपकी जर्नी है, आपको खुद इसके ऊपर काम करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि यू आर एन एडल्ट। तो इसमें हम आपको सो आपको बस ये देखना है कि मैं कितना सीरियसली ले रही हूँ बच्चों के उस
यस मैम,
पे, सो
थैंक
दैट इज
आप
वेरी क्रिटिकल।
सीरियसली लेंगे तो कल्चर बन जाएगा,
यू।
इज
यस।
द पॉइंट
कल्चर,
मैम।
आई एम द कल्चर, आई क्रिएट कल्चर राइट इन द क्लासरूम, एवरी एडल्ट इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल। ओके,
Shikha, let's just move to another subject, please. Uh,
या
you know, this thing about passion. Where does passion come from? How do children sort of find what they, what to pursue in life? How do they go about figuring this out?
Oh, Jugji sir, out of syllabus. I'm joking. I will try to answer this in my way. Okay. So, so Shikha, I'll talk about Shikha. The Shikha I know. My passion has changed after every few years because when I was in your age, my passion was something else. Then when I grew up, I started working. My passion changed because I saw, it's going to be a little fluid. वो थोड़ा सा fluid रहता है passion, but when you're an adult and when you realize that okay, this is what it is, and that feeling of belongingness to that subject, a feeling of belongingness to that thing, like for me, मेरे लिए वो child safety passion रहा क्योंकि उसने मुझे एक ऐसी goosebumps दिए when I solved a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
मैंने मेरे को अगर वो गूज़बम्प्स आ गए and I don't think about day night and I'm just passionately working about it, and it is giving me a lot of happiness to my soul. This is what passion is, and and I personally feel that अगर आज मेरा passion, मतलब there was, so I was in a rock band when I was in my college. Okay, and I was very very passionate and I was the drummer. अभी देख के लग नहीं रहा है, but I used to play drums. Okay, so I was the drummer and we were called the misunderstood. Yeah. So when I was in my that phase, तब मुझे था कि हम इंडिया का नंबर वन बैंड बनेंगे. I was passionately used to play drums and stuff, but then realized कि सिर्फ ड्रम बजाने से छोले भटूरे नहीं खा पाऊंगी मैं 10 प्लेट. Yeah, so I realized okay, अभी पढ़ाई भी करनी है, पढ़ाई भी बहुत ज़रूरी है. So I balanced it and फिर मैंने पढ़ाई करा, we started working, so on and so forth. So passion will be little fluid. I would want to say that don't just get stuck to कि अरे when I was this age मेरा ये passion था और अब अगर मेरा passion बदल रहा है, so don't get into that trap of guilt or don't get into the trap of that oh my god how will I, मैंने तो जुगजीत सर को बोल दिया था कि मैं बड़े होके ये बनूंगा, अब क्या होगा? So I think it's little fluid and you can take it easy, it's fine. But whatever gives you, and if it's prolonged and खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है उसके बारे में सोचना and everything, then you know you've already found it. So I can only talk about my experience, sir. I can't say anything else.
No. That's what I wanted. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you. Do you have more questions on the chat? Anybody has more questions?
Yeah, I still have many.
Okay, please go ahead.
Um, so ma'am, what to do when there's a boy who used to come to me only for work and not supporting me and always humiliating and making shame of me. So what to do? Again, so the first thing, who can tell me what we have understood from this situation?
Then that boy is his friend, say her friend.
Her or his, jo bhi. Doesn't matter. I don't know.
Her,
Yeah, I don't know the gender, so. Hmm.
Only coming for work.
only coming from home.
Only coming for work.
Only
And
that child is only coming for work और उसके बाद वो उसको humiliate
work
करता है.
So
Basically, just using that person कि मुझे काम है तो मैं आ गया. Otherwise, तो I am humiliating and making fun of that person and making. तो इसमें हमें क्या समझ आया है?
that friend is not our good friend. He's only
Oh,
using
so
us.
that now the first thing is that there is a victim here, right? क्योंकि अगर बुरा लग रहा है तो victim है, बुरा नहीं लग रहा तो victim ही नहीं है. Secondly, कि अगर वो courage नहीं आ रहा है अभी कि now when I've understood, अगर मैं grade 6 में हूँ 7 में हूँ और मुझे ये समझ आ रहा है कि कि somebody is using me and I think they are stuck. Shona, are you there? I think the
Yes.
retreat.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Your video was stuck. I think we again lost you. It's okay, let them come back. Yeah, so here we've understood that the boy is misusing that friendship. But they are not friends. Let me be very, very honest. They are not friends. They are not friends. Because friends don't do friends do this thing? If I am your friend, will I make ever, or for example, if you guys are my friends, will you ever make me feel that way? No, it's a no. Cancel. No, we don't do that. So first of all, we are not friends. And secondly, we need to learn to say a no. So whoever that person is, you need to get that courage that sorry, I can't do it. Just can't do it. So in these kind of situations, it's okay. You can, thoda courage chahiye, aa jayega. It's no biggie. With practice, everything is possible. I'll take another question. Ma'am, I have seen many times that bullying often leads to severe impact on victim and it suppressed the victim to take steps towards suicide. So what advice? See again the way, yeah. Self-harm has been a very, very critical problem in our country, and it all starts with bullying, and it has led to as severe as suicide. So, as I said, my answer to this is so my answer to are we using the whiteboard or something like that? I think I'll just continue in that case. Yes. So, talking about this, what advice? The advice is do not be a victim. And if you have a problem and if you think that this is bothering me and it is not okay and I'm not able to sleep and it is making me anxious, you need to talk. Talking is the only solution. Let's be very, very practical here. Talking is the only solution. Ma'am, everyone deserves to feel safe at school. Does anyone deserve to be bullied? No, nobody deserves to be bullied. But again, we need to understand one thing, that, you know, the imbalance of power is everywhere. अभी स्कूल की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, आप ऑफिस में भी जाओगे वहां पे भी imbalance of power रहेगा. यूनिवर्सिटी में जाओगे वहां पे भी imbalance of power रहेगा. रैगिंग से रैगिंग इज बैंड इन इंडिया, बट रुका क्या? नहीं रुक रहा है. Still ragging is happening. Yes, of course, this is where emotional intelligence come in. But जब हम बात कर रहे हैं इस एज ग्रुप में, grade 5 to 8, grade 5 to 12, you know, it takes time. And you need to make it a practice that at least the first step that you can take is you can promise to yourself that I will not, if I see bullying happening, I'm going to take an action. Yes, Ila ma'am, I think you're also right. If you calm down the child and also understand कि ये क्यों हुआ. आप विक्टिम से बात कर रहे हैं, बट आई वुड से कि आपको बुली से भी बात करनी चाहिए, बिकॉज बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि एक बुली घर पे बुली हो रहा है या कहीं और बुली हो रहा है, और वो टेकिंग इट आउट ऑन द अदर स्टूडेंट्स. सो वो भी जानना जरूरी है कि क्यों एक बच्चा बुली क्यों कर रहा है. ओके, और
Hello.
एक बच्चा विक्टिम क्यों है. यस, सक्षम, do you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So Anmol, did you get any understanding of the advice that I gave you? Suppress करते हैं, suppress होता है वही, that is how we define a victim. एक victim suppress ही करता है. अगर वो express कर रहा होता तो वो bully हो जाता. You know what I mean? It is the suppression that makes you a victim, that you feel so bad, you take a U-turn, and you're just sad. You are just sad, and you're not happy, and you don't want to talk to anybody, and और जब वो first layer पे, first level पे, when you don't talk about it, you feel so bad that you go to the second level and third level, and then the self harm begins, and then this, and then that. So in those cases, if you know somebody, please go and immediately talk to your people, or any trusted adult in the school, anybody from the school. And secondly, you can second is, and if if you feel this way, then again you need to talk about it immediately, like ASAP. Anybody else would like to ask anything? I'm going to just read what Ritu Kapoor wrote to everyone. My suggestion, it's like you respond to a bully by getting irritated or angry, and you're actually giving him the pleasure of being successful. Well, Ritu ma'am, it is very easy to write all this and understand all this, but when you're in that zone, when you're actually in a bullying situation, you don't feel that way. It is a realization. It is not a response. You always feel later कि ओहो मैंने तो उसको सक्सेसफुल कर दिया परेशान होकर. Yes, but again, the easiest solution to bullying is take a step back and realize कि क्या मैं bully हूँ, क्या मैं victim हूँ, या मैं bystander हूँ. और अगर मैं bystander हूँ, तो मुझे जल्दी से decide करना है कि मैं active bystander हूँ या inactive. और अगर मैं inactive हूँ तो मुझे active करके I need to take a stand for my friends, because friendship is not a joke. It's not friendship comes with a very big responsibility. Yeah, friendship is a very, very big responsibility. Yes, Veda.
Ma'am, I have a question. If you unintentionally bullied someone, like you have a friend and you say him and her like you're dumb, okay, and the person take it seriously and he think I am a victim. So it is this is a bullying?
Okay. So as I said first, okay, bully is intentional. Okay. Yeah. So if when I say bullying is intentional, I also mean that bullying is repetitive. So if somebody is telling me I'm dumb once, okay, if somebody is telling me that I'm dumb and एक ही बार बोला Veda. So what I will do is my responsibility is I go and tell that person that you know what, I did not like it. You call me dumb because I know we are friends. So the other person says, okay, okay, yeah, sorry, yaar, you feel bad. I'm really sorry, but you know, मुझे गुस्सा आ गया था and I'm sorry or whatever reason. And you're friends again, good. But if it's repeating, then it's bullying. Otherwise, first time it's not bullying. If it's repeated behavior, that मेरे को किसी ने आज bully बोला, but कल दोबारा से उसने बोला, and then third time he or she is saying me a dumb person in front of 10 people, then it's bullying. You know, then then I choose a personality like me, somebody like me. I will say that how dare you call me a dumb? Come on, look at your you know, and don't say this again ever, ever. Do not call me a dumb in front of everyone, and don't even call me a dumb because I am not dumb. So on and so on. It depends how the conversation is going, but you know. So एक बार के लिए it's fine, but you need to tell that person, and also telling that person कब बताओगे आप मुझे बताओगे टुडे somebody called me dumb, तो मुझे अब उसको कब बात करनी है, कब बताना है?
When
I
you
cannot.
realize.
हाँ, मैंने अभी रियलाइज कर लिया, मुझे किसी ने डम बोला और मैंने अभी के अभी रियलाइज कर लिया. उसके बाद what is the deadline? That is a very interesting tip that I'm going to give you today. कि वो कितनी देर में आपको बताना है, what is the time duration?
Ma'am, when you realize you can go to a person and immediately say this because after sometimes your friendly relationship can be destroyed.
Yeah, fantastic. So when I say, when you say कि at the earliest, so I have we've created a very interesting concept called 24-hour rule. So अभी जो भी प्रॉब्लम है ना अपने दोस्त से, आपको 24 घंटे में उसके पास जाना है और उसको बोलना है. लाइक वेदा ने मुझे ऐसा कुछ बोला जो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा, तो मैं वेदा के पास जाऊंगी विद इन 24 आवर्स. The moment I realize within 24 hours I have to go to Veda because she's my friend and I can't hamper my friendship because of this. Because my identity, what I'm creating right now is that for me, friendship is very important. And I'm not going to just, you know, let go of a friendship just because of one word, right? So I will make sure that I sit with Veda and I tell her कि मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगा तुमने ऐसे बोला, right? And then what does Veda do? Veda says, I'm so sorry. And Veda goes to the canteen, gets me a chocolate, and says, I'm sorry, Shikha. I had no intention, but I made sure that, you know, Shikha feels good about it. कि हाँ ठीक है चलो, thank you, we are friends again. We hug it out and we do a high five and whatever you do with your friends. Yeah. So this is another one very cute way to handle any this kind of bullying. जो कि ये bullying है नहीं because it's just happened once. And when we say bullying, it's repetitive. It's repetitive and intentional. Ji?
I have a quick question, Shikha.
Yes,
So,
yes.
you work on many aspects, right? Bullying is one, and today we've talked a lot about bullying. But all these, you talked about sex abuse. We talked
Sexual abuse.
mostly about bullying. sexual abuse, right? And we talked to our, these are the two things we've talked a little bit about, and there's some other issues also. So, what, according to you, are the biggest issues schools actually have?
It's demographic, sir. It's demographic. Different, um, regions in our country have different problems, right? For example, let me give you an example. साउथ इंडिया में इतना बुलिंग का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, वहां पे अलग तरीके के चैलेंजेस हैं. नॉर्थ इंडिया में थोड़ा सा बुलिंग ज्यादा है, ड्रग्स भी ज्यादा है. नॉर्थ ईस्ट में और द ईस्टर्न साइड, वहां पे बुलिंग से ज्यादा ड्रग्स हैं, बिकॉज border states. So it all depends. So I can't give you a generic answer, but all I can say is that bullying is a very critical map. So bullying is root cause of a lot of things, क्योंकि bullying की वजह से mental health problem आता है, bullying की वजह से self harm आता है, bullying की वजह से bullying leads to sexual abuse also, कि शुरुआत में bullying से शुरू करते हैं. You know what I mean? So bullying has been a very, it is a ticking time bomb. वो तो है ही, बट और भी challenges हैं. साइबर, आई हैव वर्कड विद अ स्कूल फ्रॉम कानपुर, जहाँ मतलब यूपी में बहुत साइबर अब्यूज के challenges हैं. बहुत, पता ही नहीं है कि कौन सी फेक आइडेंटिटी क्रिएट करके दोस्त बना लेते हैं. फिर वो दोस्त ऐसे कि हाँ जी अब आप इधर आ जाओ, सिटी में आ जाओ हमसे मिलने के लिए. फोटो से तो पता नहीं चलता, और लड़कों की आवाज से भी इतना पता नहीं चलता क्या उम्र है. A boy who is 18 probably would sound like somebody who's 23 also, because उस टाइम पे puberty के टाइम पे थोड़ा आवाज भारी है, right? So नहीं पता चल पाता है. So I think cyber abuse and bullying is something that is very very critical. Sexual abuse भी है, but you know it all depends on a lot of things. But bullying, yes, bullying is the root cause to mental health for sure, 100%. सारी प्रॉब्लम्स ही उसी की वजह से, bullying की वजह से होती है, mental health.
आपने मेंटल हेल्थ की बात की, तो कोई give us some formula for me to, for I'm a child of 12 13 years old, some formula I can use to check for myself, is my mental health okay or is it not okay?
Hello.
Yes, who's this? Somebody unmuted, I think by mistake. So you're asking me to do some magic. वो magic ना possible होता नहीं है. ये ऐसा नहीं है कि एक sprinkle करा and my magic wand और मैंने निकाल दिया एक आंसर. ऐसा होगा नहीं, because अभी इसका मैं ना आपको बड़ा एक इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जाम्पल की तरह समझा सकती हूँ, बिकॉज सुबह से इतनी बार हमने छोले भटूरे की बात कर ली है, यू नो सो आई जस्ट यूज दैट एज एन एग्जाम्पल कि हमने कहीं से छोले भटूरे खाए, जुगजीव सर का पेट खराब हो गया, लेकिन मेरा तो हुआ ही नहीं. सबने खाए लेकिन सिर्फ 2-3 लोग ही हैं जिनका पेट खराब हुआ, बिकॉज उनका उनका स्टमक का appetite was very different from different people. So it all depends on how are you feeling. Again, ये जो feeling का जो meter है ना, that is the biggest judgment कि mental health concern है या नहीं है. Also, we have also realized, Aprajita is also from my team here. So me and Aprajita, we've been talking a lot and we've realized that COVID के बाद ये जो बड़े critical words है ना, ये बड़े common हो गए हैं. जुगजीव सर, जो कि बड़े सीरियस वर्ड्स हैं, लाइक डिप्रेशन. आई एम डिप्रेस्ड. व्हाट डू वी रियली मीन बाय डिप्रेशन? अगर आप गूगल करेंगे तब आपको लगेगा ओ माय गॉड, मैं तो इतना लाइटली कैजुअली इस वर्ड को यूज कर रहा हूँ. आई एम फीलिंग लो, आई एम गॉट एंजाइटी इश्यूज. एंजाइटी इश्यूज में यू नीड टू पॉप अ पिल. anxiety issues में you need to pop a pill. So you can't say that, oh, मेरा तो anxiety issues हो रहे हैं, I'm feeling low, I'm depressed, so on and so forth. तो आपका सवाल है वो मैं ऐसे आंसर कर नहीं पाऊंगी कि एक जादू की छड़ी दे दें कि कैसे पता चलेगा. If you're not feeling okay, if you're not able to sleep, if you don't want to talk to anybody, if you do, your sleep is hampering and your studies are hampering, these three things, please, this is something that I can say that yes, कुछ तो लोचा है, कुछ गड़बड़ है, something is off. क्या ऑफ है वो साइकोलॉजिस्ट, वो स्कूल के काउंसलर ही बता पाएंगे ऑफ क्या है, बट कुछ लोचा है, कुछ तो समथिंग इज ऑफ. I hope
If you're
that
not
makes
feeling
sense.
good, if you're not able to sleep,
Yeah, if you're not feeling
yes,
happy,
absolutely. If you're not able
yeah,
to study,
you don't feel like studying, you don't feel like talking to anybody.
yeah,
If I'm not feeling, if I don't want to talk to anybody, yes, this is again, this is another red flag. So yes, these are the 2 3 important critical things that I can self judge that if I am okay or not. And if I'm feeling that way, it is okay. It is like, it is fine to feel that way, but you need to come up with a solution कि अब करना क्या है इसका. पता तो चल गया कि ये है, अब करना क्या है. Siddhi, you have unmuted yourself. Do you want to say something? Or it was by mistake? Okay, I muted her. Yes.
how
You
are
had a
we
book
doing on
reading.
time, Rishona?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You had a book reading
Yes,
session,
yes,
and
book here with me.
I've stolen it.
So,
No, no,
uh,
no, no. I didn't stop the going well. Yeah, Rishona.
so thank you, ma'am, for the session. We did extend a little bit over time, but I think it was really fruitful because this was a really interactive session, and everyone got to ask their share of questions, their share of doubts, and whatever they wanted to discuss. And there was no part of it that was boring because all of it was really helpful for everyone who was here, be it any teacher or any student. And I think any session that we do in the future will be just as fruitful. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Shona. Thank you so much, Jugjeev sir, and everybody else, Sandeep sir, everybody in the room. Thank you so much for being so patient. And I hope I did not make you hungry. I did not make you feel hungry with the momos and chow mein and chole bhature and the dosas.
You did. Thank
That's me. I am Shikha. I love food. So yeah, thank you. Thank you once again, everyone.
you, Shikha. So, maybe you want to just very briefly reflect on the session. I'm just going to get to another place and we can read the book a little bit. So, maybe you want to reflect on the session. Rishona, Arpa, maybe you want to lead the discussion, and then I'm just heading inside and we'll read from the book.
Thank you, Rishona, for hosting a beautiful session. I think the conversation has started.
Yes,
I,
sir.
on my part, am happy to extend an olive branch, a helping hand. Perhaps we can't get Shikha always, and when you are in your school system, you sometimes do not have the comfort level to consult or speak with a confidant. I'm using the word confidant, a person whom you can open your heart to. So anytime you feel you want to have a conversation and you have a challenge, feel free to pop us a message. You can email us, whether it's Jugjeev sir or it's me or Manisha ma'am or Kunal, any one of us. We will be happy to answer some of these questions. And yes, we will refer them to Shikha wherever required. Shikha is very delighted always to help with the conversation and also help overcome challenges you face. I want to share something with you. This is now the year 1973. There was a little boy, fat and stout, who got admission in a boarding school. And when he went to the boarding school, it was 11th of February, the fateful day of 1973. So he was left in the boarding school and he felt like he is being put into a space with sharks. And when he was walking towards his dorm from the balcony, people said, Chalo, ek aur murga aya. That's the kind of world you go into. And it's a big challenge to get out of that scenario. You are lost, you're out of your comfort of your home. You don't have the love and space in a new alien environment. It takes courage to overcome that. And so often you can't talk to your peers and your seniors. But you will always find a straw in the wind. You'll always find someone who empathizes with you. And that's the person who matters the most. This story which I shared with you is autobiographical. I have been through all this myself. I've been through a boarding school. And let me assure you, conversations matter. So, bottom line of the right side story is open your heart, have a conversation, and that is crucial. That's the most difficult part, opening a conversation. And once you open a conversation, believe me, floodgates open. Jugjeev sir, I just give them a helping hand from my side and mentioned that anytime you feel like a conversation, we are always there, Jugjeev sir. We are there for them as friends, family, as confidants. They are more than happy. You've been through boarding school like I have, and sometimes you find someone in a different house. You were in a different house, but we got to talk.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
sometimes you find time or you find an opportunity to connect with someone, anyone in school staff. So don't shirk to look around. That's what I'm telling them. Don't ever be closed in a. Don't close your heart, as simple as that. Find someone whom you can talk to. Talk to a pet if nothing else. I have found that also peaceful, and I feel my pet understands me. So often I'm able to talk totally out to my pet, and I feel light after that. That's the key, to lighten your heart. And it all lies in the courage to speak up. Bless you all. Take care. Over to you, Jugjeev sir. Do you see the screen, Jugjeev sir? I think I got what you want.
Yeah, you've got what I want. Can you hear me clearly?
Beautiful, loud and clear, right on Mars.
Okay, great. So we are reading this book, Door to Door Bookstore, Door to Door Bookstore by Carsten Henn. Last time I'd given you the background. We're running a little late, so I'm going to just start reading straight away. It's almost 12 o'clock, so I'm going to just start reading straight away. Okay. The following day, Karl went to visit Gustav Gruber, his former boss at Munster Blake Care Home. Although the name meant Minster View, the Minster could only have been visible had the residents been capable of scaling the gabled roof and leaping 3 meters into the air. If you don't know what gabled means, please Google it. Karl always visited Gustav between breakfast and lunch. It was important not to disturb him at mealtime. In a care home, time is measured in meals, not hours, with the day further punctuated by afternoon coffee and cake, supper, and finally a nightcap with something sweet. This concept of measuring time based on meals, I think we are fairly familiar with in India. We always say after breakfast, before lunch, after lunch, before dinner. We are fairly, I think, at least when I travel overseas, I've found that people are not so hung up on meal times like we are in India. I don't know what the reason is, but that's what I find, that we are very hung up on meal times, and that's why the author is talking about how in Germany they're obviously not hung up on it, but in this old age home, those are how people are going to divide their day. In his younger years, Gustav had wheaten blonde curls. They are still the same color now, albeit from a less natural source. He's clearly dyeing his hair. Their intensity seemed to mock the last wisps of eyebrow and the ash gray chin stubble. Gustav had the slight air of a clown who had long since removed his makeup. Humor still glowed from his laughter line, and intelligence still nestled in the thoughtful furrows on his forehead. The roguish twinkle in his eye may have faded to a glimmer, but the old man still had a last few tricks up his sleeve. Gustav lay in the bed, a book in his hand. He had taken the paper cover off. Although he could barely hold the weight of a hard book, he couldn't abide paperbacks. Only a hard-covered felt protector enough for the valuable words inside, keeping them safe from harm. Sandeep, any thoughts on this hardcover, softcover thing around books?
Yeah, it's very simple. I thought I'd explain this to you, that why we have hardcover and softcover. Maybe that will be interesting for everyone.
Okay.
See, you know what happens today? We are all, let me get a hardcover and a softcover because that itself may be a challenge. Okay. So you see two books here on the screen. The one, the white one, it says great teaching experience. Now this is limp. It doesn't have cardboard here. So it's known as softcover. This is productive failure. So it's hardcover. Why are majority of the general books, I'm not talking textbooks, published in two formats, a soft cover and a hard cover? There are two reasons behind it. To make the book affordable, we have to price it very, very reasonably so we get a large market. And when you get a large market, the royalties to the author go down to paisas and rupees. So what they do in most cases, the publishers, they will first release a hardback. And hardback is normally priced almost 3 to 4 times on a paperback. That is like a preview or a test market. They will sell 500,000, 10,000 in hardback. And hardback will be larger, the font will be bigger, it'll be bound in such a way that you can keep it for years. It'll have a shelf life because the person who buys a hardback keeps the book for shelf life also in the library.
And
Then what happens after a few months when hardback sales plateau? Then comes the paperback because then they want to sweat out the asset of the author and reach a mass market. So Jugdeep sir, this is why so often you will see a hardback coming early and a paperback following up. There are also reasons today. Sometimes they publish hardback and paperback together. Why they do that is to control piracy. Because if you have the hardback in circulation too long and people want to buy it, pirates then see here's a demand, they will make a paperback and even bring it before the publisher does. Over to you, Jugdeep sir.
Yeah, book piracy, I guess, has only grown because I remember on the streets of Delhi, you could buy so many books which were bestsellers, and you could make out from the cover that the color wasn't that good, and also, yeah, I'm sure book piracy is a huge business. Okay, carrying on. Now that he felt so unprotected himself, with time and death gnawing at his every extremity, he wanted security, at least for the words that acted as his companions for this brief Right. So he was reading books for his companions, words for his companions. As Carl entered, Gustav pushed the book inside the cover, under the cover. So what do you think he's reading? Why is he hiding it? Anybody? Why is he hiding it? Why is Gustav hiding the book? Why is Gustav hiding the book? What can he be reading? What book would you hide from somebody? What book would you hide?
Jugjeet says there's paucity of time. I used to hide my pondies. Now you can tell them what I've said.
So, what a pondy is going to come up soon. I don't know if they use that word anymore in school or not, but it's going to come up soon. Okay. You are looking well, said Carl. Not the best best lie ever. I don't ever look well these days. If I were a house, the demolition crew would have arrived long ago. Carl pointed to the bed cover. You do this every time, Gustav. What? Look unwell? I've been practicing that for years. Hiding the book. There will be reason for that then, won't there? Do you think I care whether you're reading porn at your age? Gustav barked a laugh, which ended in a cough. Since that had begun to happen, he had tried to give up laughing and had ceased to read, watch, or listen to anything humorous as a result. He could throw away he would throw away the cartoon pages in the newspaper without reading them. This had succeeded in reducing his coughing fits, but his lungs missed laughter. It had always improved his circulation. His heart missed it all the more. I'm so old, said Gustav, when he could catch his breath again. I wouldn't even understand the stuff they write in books like that. I'm so old. Erotic novels are ancient Greek to me. I might be able to read the letters, but the meaning is lost. Then why do you always hide your book? Carl said. Carl sat on the chair next to Gustav's bed and squeezed his hand. You really want to know what I'm reading? Of course. You laugh. I won't, I promise. He drew the book out and held it out to Carl. Treasure Island. Do you know who's written Treasure Island? Anybody? Treasure Island? Anybody who's read Treasure Island?
Yes.
Okay, so who's written it? Shivanshu? Who's written Treasure Island?
Treasure hunt means and where a treasure is hunt in the island.
ये लिखी किसने है?
इसको
Who's written the book?
गुस्तव ने.
अरे नहीं 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 नहीं. No, no. Treasure Island. The book Treasure Island, R.L. Stevenson. You haven't read it? I remember I certainly read it when I was in school. Okay. I'm reading the books from my youth. Adventure novels, lots of Carl May. I have noticed much of the writing is not as great as I remembered it, but it still feels like coming home. And you're ashamed of that, you daft old fool? The carers here call me the professor because I am a bookseller, was a bookseller before. They think I'm an intellectual. Me, can you imagine? But you are. Reading a lot doesn't make you an intellectual any more than eating a lot makes you a gourmet. I'm an egotist, reading purely for my own pleasure, out of love for good stories, not to learn something about the world. There's no way to completely avoid learning. Something will lodge now and then, even in an old head like yours. Gustav tapped Treasure Island with his finger. My parents gave me these books back then. You know, they were booksellers too. The Gruber dynasty. Exactly. Some families show their love with food, an extra thick layer of butter on your bread, or a second slice of burst on top. Others hold each other close and often sharing warmth to keep the cold of the outside world at bay. For generations, my family have shown their love through books. It doesn't even have to suit the recipient. When I started school, I struggled to decode even a single sentence. I would stumble over the pronunciation of each letter, then string them clumsily together. He laughed, setting off another cough. Believe it or not, that was when my father gave me Thomas Mann's Buddenbrooks. Hundreds of pages full of long sentences, wonderful sentences, words forged together like exquisite gold chains, but so long that their greatest impact was to frighten me. A year later, Tolstoy's War and Peace followed, and when I turned 10 and had yet to lose any time, my mother gave me Proust à la recherche du temps perdu. To my parents, there were no books for children or adults, just good or bad books. And they gave me the best, like others give diamond jewelry that you keep for a lifetime. Gustav Grimm. Have I been lecturing you again? So, Carl May, very famous adventure author, Thomas Mann, Buddenbrooks. That book is unique because Thomas Mann got the Nobel Prize for Literature, and normally you get it for a bunch of books, but for this, and in this case, Buddenbrooks was sort of mentioned as one of the reasons that he got the Nobel Prize for Literature. Tolstoy's War and Peace is a classic. I mean, Tolstoy is supposed to be arguably one of the best authors of all time. Okay, so the other thing, what's happening in this book is that you're getting to names of lots of books. The other interesting thing, what you just read, is Gustav talked about how he struggled with reading in the beginning, but he persisted, and he reads so much. He started reading so much going forward. So when you pick up a book and you study, just keep at it. So it's if you keep at it, you will become proficient. Gustav Grimm, have I been lecturing you again? I've known you my whole life, and I wouldn't have you any other way. Liar. He punched Carl's arm. It had all the power of a gentle breeze. But don't stop. I've just finished reading a book that made me think of you. Was it about a notorious womanizer who, even at his advanced age, chases every skirt he sees? His dull eyes took on a teasing spark. It was about an old bookseller who traveled to all the places he'd read about. Just think of that as a concept, to travel to all the places you read about. So, I don't know, have you all played Monopoly? Do you play Monopoly? Play Monopoly? You can see Anvi nodding. So, I mean, as a kid, I had played a lot of Monopoly. And I can't tell you how excited I was when I visited London and I came across Park Lane and Mayfair and Bond Street and Regent Street, Alger Square. It was so exciting because I had been reading, I've been sort of dealing with those cards for a long time. And then finally, when I ended up going to London and going on those streets, it was really exciting. Gustav sat up a little straighter in the bed. It took a great deal of effort. Then he gestured to his gaunt body. Do I look in a fit state for traveling to you? Just getting to the toilet feels like an expedition. He gave Carl a warm smile of understanding. You're a bookseller to your bones, aren't you? Never ask me how I am. Just recommend books to me. I learned that from you. He handed Treasure Island back. Maybe Stevenson's novel could be the right thing to persuade a new work experienced lad to read. So there's a boy called Leon working in the bookstore, and he has no interest in books. And he's there on internship. Earlier, his sister had come. So Gustav used to be in the store then, and his trick to get children to read, or at least Leon's sister to read, was he gave her a very boring task, and close to where he was supposed to work from, he put a book that he thought that she would have interest in. And so she was so bored doing what he had the work he had given her, that she picked up the book and started to read. And then she read one, and then she became a reader, because then she found it very good. She just hadn't tried reading, right? She had just hadn't tried and just wasn't familiar with it. And so now, when Carl had gone to the bookshop last time, he told Leon to dust some cards lying there, which is a very boring task. And he kept a book on football there, because Leon is interested in football. So his thought was that, hopefully Leon will get bored dusting those cards, and he'll pick up the book and he'll get interested in reading. So that's the background to that. Sabine told me about him. Leon, isn't it? You found the perfect book for him long ago. Sorry, you would have found the perfect book for him long time ago. It's time like this we miss you most. Gustav brushed his words aside. One day Sabine will be able to do that much better than I ever could. Sabine is his daughter, who runs the bookstore now, and Carl and she don't have that good a relationship, because Sabine is trying to modernize the bookstore and make sure that they can make two ends meet and the bookstore is profitable. And so she's making changes which Carl doesn't like, because he's living his own world, which is basically of the past. That's why it says Carl's chair was suddenly uncomfortable, and he wriggled to find a better position. There was none. Touchy subject for you. Now you're the old fool. Gustav gave a wry smile. I know you won't believe me, but Sabine is very fond of you, even if she's not good at showing it. I'm fond of her too. She's your daughter after all, and your boss. Exactly. I'm contractually obliged to be fond of her. You just need to understand she wants to do everything differently, better. That's the prerogative of you. He smoothed the bed cover, and she needs to assert herself in front of the others. A boss can't show weakness. He leaned forward and lowered his voice to a whisper. She's promised me you can continue delivering books as long as you want. Thank you. Carl didn't look him in the eye. He didn't want to show Gustav how much delivering books meant to him, even though the old man had been well aware. She's always been a little envious of you, Gustav continued, because you're the natural born bookseller and she isn't. He was wrong. His daughter had always believed her modern methods to be superior. She had always sensed that Carl occupied a special place in her father's heart. She may have envied Carl's skill, but she envied the love all the more. People trust you, Gustav was saying. That's the most important thing for a bookseller. When you recommend a book, the customer just doesn't hope they will enjoy it. They are certain of it. And if they don't enjoy it, it must be their own fault, not yours, he winked. I'm supposed to be cheering you up, not the other way around, said Carl. Well, I'm better at it, or I'm taking over the task. Carl decided it was time for their little quiz. They played it on every visit with a new subject each time. Name the 5 best books for cheering someone up. Gustav nominated 5, then Carl listed his candidates. They discussed the strengths and weaknesses of each book and the authors. When they moved on to the best books in which a character lived in a care home, that was a trickier task, but they cracked it in the end. Carl said Gustav should come back to the bookshop, if only for a few hours a week. Gustav laughed far too much. Eventually, he ran out of breath. I won't ever come back. You know that, said Gustav. Don't say that. We're old wall radios, you and I. Our time is past. We didn't notice it while we were still functional, but we can't get the replacement parts. You sound like one of those greeting cards with their inspirational quotes. That's not so bad. They sell well, Gustav wheezed. I need a nap. It's good for my youthful complexion. He hesitated. A lurid splash of pain came over his face. This was the point in the conversation where he always asked the same question. This time he needed to take a deep breath, and his voice trembled as the words came out. Will you come again next week? Of course. It's good to hear that. I'll keep on visiting you for years yet. You know that. Gustav nodded and turned his head away. Take care, boss, said Carl, stroking Gustav's bony arm in farewell. Take care, young one. So that's the end of the chapter. Any reactions, any thoughts on what we've just read? I'm going to sort of head back outside where the rest of the folks are.
Thank you, Jugjeet. Thank you, Jugjeet. You take your steps. I will do the conversation. Concentrate on going down on the steps. Don't fall like I did many days back. Okay, everybody. First, a big shout out to Jugjeev sir, and I think he's done a fantastic job about the story of Carl. Two important things come in today's reading. You should read for the joy of reading. It's not what you read that matters, it's how you read that matters. When I say how, you focus, you think, you reflect. That is very crucial in reading. The art of reading is all about improving your thought. Some of us attended yesterday's session with Krista about mind, consciousness, and thought. And I want to summarize it. Reading touches your mind, builds your consciousness, and develops thought. That is the essential power of reading. And I think this is the beauty which keeps us all alive and together. We have a lot of excitement here at the My Good School retreat. And Jugdeep sir is on the site. He is doing a fantastic job on the retreat. I have come to Dehradun just for some time because I wanted to be with you from the Joy of Learning studio. And second, I wanted to share with you, like young people like you, in 2017, visited the Arthur Foot Academy, in 2018 and 2019. And what they did that time, they gave a promise that they will do something concrete for the Arthur Foot Academy. And today in 2025, a bus has been gifted to the Arthur Foot Academy. It's a huge amount of money, but it didn't stop the youngsters to collecting it and supporting the school. So this is how we celebrate sharing, caring, and love for each other. If you look at reading, why you and me are here, we are simply here because we care for each other. We value each other's time. So I suggest two things to you today before we go. One, please try and buy 1 or 2 books in a year. They are your best friends. At the retreat, we have gifted a book to some of them, And we try and do this every time when we come to the retreat. Second, if you need support to buy a book, we'll stand by you. Let us know. We at the Learning Forward Foundation are always more than happy to help any individual connected with us to experience the joy of reading. Yes, the way we do our sessions, you don't need the book sometimes, but possessing a book home and making friends with a book, that's the joy of life. Jugdeep sir, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm back. We almost at 12:30, but I did
Yeah.
have a for all the folks. What is a wall radio? What is a wall radio? We just read about old wall radio. What is a wall radio?
Radio, we keep rotating them from wall there. Keep rotating that wall, उसमें line चलती है, connections are wait कर रहे हैं. That's what we are talking.
This is how radios used to work. There used to be big radios. They had the knobs that used to turn, and the old technology. It was replaced by transistors. And one day, many years ago, we were watching, I think, something on TV, and there was a phone. Sorry for giving you the answer away, but there was this instrument there which had this dial. And my son asked me, "What is that?" And I couldn't believe the question because he'd never seen a phone which you had, like we used to, when we were young, we had to dial like this to the phone.
Now it's a vintage phone, we used to call it.
So he asked me, "What is that?" And I'm like, shocked. What is that? That's a phone.
You know, it for fashion at the moment.
I remember a time when you were a phone,
Hello.
you picked up the phone and the operator asked you what number, and you gave the number and the operator connected you. That was the situation of a phone. This is in Yamunanagar, a smaller place. Delhi you could dial, but then eventually everywhere you could dial. And especially STD or whatever you dial, वो सारा dial खत्म करके फिर वो engage. फिर लगे रहो. Because the data, those phones which you don't see now. Radios also used to be like this, but radios used to work well. I mean, in those days, I remember listening to a lot of cricket commentary, getting up, especially when India was touring, and Australia matches started 5:30 in the morning, New Zealand even earlier. And very exciting to listen to that.
It was like FM, no, that you were saying. You used to have FM.
No, it wasn't FM. FM is very clear. That used to come, ऊपर नीचे आ रहा है, you had antenna also. So all radios is from that sort of generation of those radios where you sort of many used to be big.
You have.
I don't have. Well, I have it somewhere, but I want to tell you that a friend of mine who's in business school with me, he's discovered this passion, and he's made a documentary. It's called My Radio, My Life. It's there on channels. It's very. I went for a show. He came to Delhi, and then they did a show in India International Center. Very interesting to go and see and about how the radio has evolved. And there's still people who are very passionate about radios, and there'll be few. And he's named some of them. And,
Nowadays, I also explore people are also collecting vinyls. You know the vinyl record.
Yeah, that's big. And
There are collectors in Delhi for that.
Yeah, because their sense is that sound is what is the best. And so as technology keeps going up, but still there is.
Jugdeep sir, we always had a spare stylus home. You're talking of vinyl records. The stylus used to break. The stylus used to be a needle, the thin needle which we used to put in the gramophone which used to play. So I think maybe a good idea for these people is at the retreat to discover what a gramophone is, and maybe you find one in the Khan farm.
I suspect we may.
You may find one. I'm sure our King Khan will have a collection. You can ask King Khan, does he have some vinyl records? As I'm not sure many have seen vinyl records and how the vinyl records function. It could be a wonderful reflection for the day.
When I remember in our common room, if the record got scratched and then if It
Yeah.
used to skip. That was really irritating.
Now people collect it for fashion. Like you will go to any vintage store in Delhi, they keep that thing for the fashion.
For like a showcase.
Yogi sir, I need a minute to sum up here.
Yeah, please go ahead. We should close it.
Yeah, we will close at 12:30 p.m. sharp. That's the My Good School Standard Global Time. I hope you are progressing well with your flip charts. I'm heading back to the camp to see how many pages you have filled up. You have a promise to fill all the 25 pages by the time we meet tomorrow for the final lunch. So whether you sleep tonight or not, it doesn't matter. Record everything in your flip chart, what you have done, what you have seen, and every possible memory you can capture. You can write page, you can draw the page, you can stick things you have found, but I would love to see these scrapbooks before you return. And let me assure you, the best scrapbook will get the reward of some books to read. So, gotta go, my friends. Second, some of you wanted me to write a message and sign on the copies of books. Yes, we'll actually mark some time between today and tomorrow, and I'm happy to do that for you. I should be there later in the day, so you can come in your free time. I'll happily write you a personalized message in your book. The book with an author's message is valued deeply, and when the authors know more, it sells for millions of dollars. So you never know, one of you may become a millionaire if you have an author signed book by Sandeep Dutt when he's finally slept. So bless you all. It's been a wonderful day. Two important things to take away. Have conversations like Shikha ma'am said. That's important. And like she referred to the period post the pandemic, conversations are becoming tough to start. हमको शिखा मैम ने क्या आपस में बातचीत जरूर करें. हमारे पास यहाँ पे आर्थर फुट एकेडमी के होनहार टीचर हैं और मैं उनको आश्वासन देता हूँ कि मैं उनके साथ 24 घंटे फोन पे जुड़ा हूँ. मनीषा मैम जुड़ी है, जुगजीत सर जुड़े हैं. कभी भी मन में कोई शंका हो, कोई परेशानी हो, चाहे वो स्कूल की हो या ना हो, हम आपके साथ हैं. हम आपके हमदर्द हैं और हम रोज लिखते हैं हैप्पी टीचर, हैप्पी टीचर, हैप्पी टीचर. हमारा मंत्र केवल एक ही है, हैप्पी टीचर, और बच्चों के लिए जॉय ऑफ लर्निंग. दैट्स हाउ माय गुड स्कूल वर्क्स. Thank you to all the teachers here for your patience. Jatin, I owe you a lot in my life. You're one golden boy we found. God bless you. Thank you to the Sunbeam teachers. You are so immaculate in your hygiene and soft skills. We have to learn a lot from you, honestly, if you ask me. I really admire, I call it the Sunbeam way. How smartly turned out you bring out generations every year. And Sunbeam way for us is a story at my good school to share. And last but not the least, I'm sure we all need to do 3 cheers for the Khan Farm because this is the My Good School, specially hosted at the My Good School retreat. 3 cheers for the Khan Farm. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.
Hooray!
Lovely. So I'm glad you're enjoying the My Good School retreat. I hope you are. So we will see you soon. Over to you, Jugjeet sir or Manisha ma'am, whosoever wants to close.
It was a wonderful experience here at the Khan Farm and the retreat. I hope all the children and everybody have enjoyed being here, attending all the choices. A few choices were given to them. They all are doing it very nicely, and they're looking forward many more to come later. Thank you everyone for joining here.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.